Hello, my name is Samuel, and I'm going to be making the American standard flag. It's going to be 19.5 by 37, and it's going to be a 3/4 stick. Yeah, it's going to be my first flag, so I'm going to be making it and showing you guys how to make it. But first, before I start, I'm going to pretty much square off the edge. This one I got it from a lumber yard. I'm going to be squaring off one of the edges. And then from there, after that, I'm just going to be cutting. Pretty much I already have it set up at 37, and then from there, just be cutting at 37. So I'm gonna start right now. Oh, before I start, I'm gonna be using the headset, so with safety first, right? I kind of want to protect my ears. Alrighty, hold on. So now I'm going to be pretty much sanding these. So for the American flag, it's going to have 13 strips, right? So we're going to be cutting 13 of them. But before I do, I'm just going to sand it real quick. I'm going to sand the face and then the back a little bit just for the dust. It's easier to sand a big piece like this than cut up. It's pretty much sanding 13 individual ones. So that's going to be my next thing. I have extra, but that's going to be for our next project when I make more. So all right, let's begin. Once I finish sanding, then I'll continue to clean the next side. Alright, now that I sanded all the faces, what I'm going to do now is just cut my 13 strips. They're going to be 1.5 inches each. So yeah, I'll start cutting a few of them, and then after that I'll move on to the next step pretty much. Alright, here we go. Just cut on my 13 pieces, 1.5 each, and right now we're going to start the burning process. So you don't have to do burning if you don't want your flag to be burned, but it has a better look. It's more like a rustic look. So that's what I'm going to do for this one. So for this one, I just have pretty much propane, torch right here. This is the one we pretty much use for it. Lighter. Alrighty. First piece wasn't that bad. If it gets too burned, you can always sand it off. Turn it off for now. Yep. So this is how it looks pretty much. Yeah, if it's too black, for example, you know, there's some areas like in the tip right here is too black. You just sand it off a little bit and it'll light it up a little bit. So, yep. So I'm gonna be doing this for the rest of the other 12. There you go. All right. So right here we have my burn pretty much. As you can see, I've burned pretty much the whole face of the edges, right? And then the actual edges right here, back and forth. You want them also on both sides too, in case like for some reason it kind of sticks out a little bit, and it'll be burned on all sides. Pretty much cover your bases, right? It doesn't have to be this burnt, right? You can have it, you know, you can sand it lightly and it'll be less burnt, or you can do it more. It depends on you, right? Your preference. That's how I like it. So next step now is I'm gonna put the union right here, right? And then I'm gonna pretty much trace it, and then I'm gonna put the blades on it, so then I can start staining it essentially. So yeah, that's it for now. Okay, so pretty much we got 7 of the stripes. All right, so the union is gonna be pretty much 7 stripes. So I have a template here. Normally you can get these templates online. We got a pack of those, like different sizes, for like $10. It's pretty cheap. The one we have is the one that matches exactly the 7 stripes. So what I'm gonna do now is I have it pretty much laid out exactly. I'm gonna pencil line it right here. Pretty much just like that. So now I have an outline of how the flags are gonna be, and then I'm gonna blade it, which I'm gonna show you next. Okay, so with the blades, I got all the blades out pretty much. I've already done the first 3. So what you're gonna do is find that line, right? You're just gonna put it right on it, right? Once you got it right on it, you wanna tap it. Alright, so now that I have that, I have my paint. I'm gonna be staining it. For mine, I use navy blue. That's pretty much the blue that I use for the Union. That's the typical one, hence why it's called navy blue. So yeah, I already did some trials. They came out just like that, which is fine. Sometimes if it's a little thick, you want to kind of wipe it, because the one I get is semi-transparent. You want it transparent, you want to actually see the burn, right? You could try transparent too, it just might be a few coats. Probably like 2 coats or something. But for this one, it should just be 1 coat and then a white. Alright, so I just finished, right? I got all the blue ones. Like I said, navy blue. Just like that. Again, you want to hit kind of the edges. If they paint over light, it doesn't matter. They're not going to be seen, right? If the back hits kind of like a little bit, no one's really going to see the back. So don't stress too much about it. I didn't really stress about the back much. As long as you're not completely, doesn't look too bad, but it's fine. And make sure you get all the edges. So now what I'm going to use is barn red. So I don't know if I can show you. Well, yeah, see if you can see it. This is barn red, just like that. Yeah, if you can't see it, well, it's Min Max. That's the one I use, barn red. You don't have to use barn red. You can use a different kind of red, but I like to use this one because it's like a richer. It's like a richer color, and I enjoy it better. Again, and also it's your preference on how light or dark you want your actual colors. I separated, as you can see, there's only 4. I got all the white ones out, they're done. So the ones that have blue, they're done. I don't have to paint them. If you do want to paint them with white, that's, of course you can. I have semi-transparent, pure white. This is the one I would use for white. Again, get semi-transparent. You could get transparent, you're just gonna have to probably hit it a couple times if you really want it a little thicker. The reason I got semi-transparent because I could just wipe it and I don't have to coat it again. It's done. I just gotta let it dry now. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna start doing the same thing I did with the blue one, just now with red. So before I start, I always like to prep everything. I got rags here. All right, and I think I got a good stir on it already. All right, I'm about to start. Staying outside. Alright, so now after staining it, it's looking pretty good. So you got the blue there, the red, pretty much, it's pretty much evened out, like the burn part, which I really like. The next part would be gluing it. So you don't have to glue it. I prefer gluing it because I'll use this glue right here for the wood. I prefer gluing it so then it's completely flat on all sides, like on the back and front. But you know, it's all in one piece. If you don't want to glue it, there's a way to do it. You can put woods on the back pretty much. The other thing is when you hang it, there's gonna be a space in between it. But if not, then yeah, gluing this could be the next thing. We're gonna be gluing it on each side right here, putting glue on it, and putting it together, which I'm gonna show you. Okay, so after I finished, I used the glue and I glue each side, and I didn't show you that part, but pretty much when we glued it, we put a finger through it to pretty much smush it pretty much, because again, you don't want too much glue coming out on this side. And any excess glue, you just wipe it essentially. After that, we have something here pretty much to help hold it down, but you don't need something like this. All you need pretty much is clamps to pretty much hold the actual wood together. And you want to square it off, press it against something to square it off, so then on this side it's all flat and pretty much just all squared up. You have the clamps here. You just leave it here overnight, by next day it should be all good with the glue. Any excess glue, just wipe with some, like a wet rag, and it'll clean it off, like no problem. One thing to keep in mind too is if by any chance this is a little too bumpy, like height wise or whatever, just put something, grab like some piece of wood right here, put it on top, and just kind of hit it a little bit, just tap it a little bit, just to get some of these parts down. Also tap the sides too if they're not fully all the way in, right? So they're like, for the most part, you know what I'm saying, they're not going to be 100% perfect, but you can at least get it fully flushed as much as you can. So we just finished the flag. Alright, so I took out all the clamps, and it should all be pretty much together. There should be no glue on this side, because after that you should have been kept up and cleaned. Besides that, the back though, it's gonna have glue, so that's fine though. The only thing you need to do pretty much is sand it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just sand it lightly, just to get rid of all the glue. So once I get rid of all the glue, then it'll look pretty good. After that, I'm actually planning on burning it a bit. So I know that burning it's gonna be is optional. You don't have to. You can just put finish on it. But I feel like if I'm burning the front, I might as well burn the back and make the whole thing look good. So I'm gonna definitely burn the back as well. And then yeah. So first I'm gonna sand it. I'll show you guys. I mean, just need a handheld sander and just kind of sand it and just walk it through. You know what I'm saying? So start doing that. Also, if you have dust, just get a fox tail and just brush it off, like from the front. Just brush it off from time to time, especially before you finish it. Alright, so I got pretty much everything kind of sanded. For the most part, glue's still gonna be here, but oh well. I mean, no one's gonna see this. It's gonna be hung on the wall. There are other ways to do this without having the back look like, pretty bad, but it's just easier for me at least, to just have it like this. Anyways, so now what I'm gonna do is just burn the back. Again, be careful when you burn it. I have this to pretty much protect it, because right now it's kind of finished product for the most part. I still have to do the stars, but alright, so the next step after I burned it, I want to get the back done, and then I'll focus on the stars. It doesn't matter what order you do it. I just want to get the back done so I don't have to worry about it. And then after, the last thing I have to do is just finish it. So right now what I'm going to do is, you don't have to, it's up to you. I want to hang it, so I'm going to put these. What I do is I centered it, so I found my center. This 37 is going to be 18.5 inches right here, and then from center I go 16 out. So 16 out, I already marked it. It's gonna be here and then here. I failed to mention that the reason I said is 16 inches that way, 16 inches the other way, pretty much because normally when studs, you're gonna find them like 32 inches apart. on the wall. So typically you want 32 inches in distance centered, so that when you hang it, you can actually drill into the studs instead of putting anchors. But if your house is not built like that, you can always put easy anchors. Just put the screws in and you're good. Okay, so now I'm gonna be doing the stencils and dremeling all the stars out. I have a metal one because the plastic one, we noticed it wasn't really that good. When I use a Dremel on it, it would actually eat up the plastic. And unless I'm an artist and I can draw it on pencil and then try to retrace it, it's very hard to do it perfect on 50 stars. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep it on metal. I have it clamped and taped just to hold it down for the most part. And then when I need to get to those other stars, I'll just adjust it after, move the clamps around, all that. So that's what I got for now. Yeah, so I would pre-do it beforehand with another piece of wood, a 2x4 or something, a scrap wood, just so you can see how it is. Once you have enough practice and you have like you have your Dremel pretty much set to where it needs to be, then you can start. So I just finished my project doing all the stars. Well, that's finished. They came out really good. For the most part, they came out really well. And also I had the metal thing there, and as I had it there, I torched it, pretty much grabbed it and just kind of put it on each one. It kind of worked out actually, because my thing, what I was gonna do after is just kind of do it like this, like on it, but it would ruin the blue, and then I didn't want to deal with it. I had to stain it, yada yada yada. But it actually worked out to have it on there and just, carefully, just, one at a time, just hit them until eventually they were all pretty much, for the most part, burnt. So now you have the whole look of a burnt flag essentially, which looks pretty good. So yeah, so now I got this. Now the next step is touch up. There's some parts that I want to touch up on stain. And if that's the case, then hey, that's fine. What I have is we call these tits, but I mean realistically these are just to hold that in place on top. So basically whenever I paint it, it just sits there on top. This is what I'm gonna use for my finisher as well. So basically whenever I finish here, so this is the finisher I use. Polyacrylic crystal clear top coat right here. So same brand. I use this one for the finisher, but I'm gonna do that tomorrow. So today what I'm gonna just be doing is just literally touching up. So I have my little touch up. Okay, right. So I just let it finish. I just turned it around. Did not show you that part, my bad. But essentially after I just finished it, all I did was just use the sander. I didn't actually, I wouldn't recommend using an actual sander because it could ruin it. But I just used a little sander like this and just kind of brushed up on it, right? Clean up, again, the little fuzzes. So right now what I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to apply finisher on it. Boom. Stir this up. Alright, so this is my finished product. Yeah, it's pretty much done. I did 3 finishes on this. You don't have to do 3. I prefer you do 3. So yeah, so once you do the finish, it's a finished product. And like I said, just sand it as you do it before, you know, if you see all the bubbles and stuff forming on the first finish. Yeah. That's my logo right there. And the date with the number 1 on it, because this is gonna be this is my first project. So yeah, when I start doing more, I'll pretty much have that logo with the number 1 and maybe the date if it's big enough. If it's small, if it's something small, I probably won't put the date. I'll probably just number 1 on it, or number whatever model it is. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I'll be having more projects out in the website and on Instagram. So yeah, just check it out if you can.